morning, everyone. It's Christophe Choo, and I'm with Coldwell Banker Global Luxury in beautiful Beverly Hills, California. And it's February 2021. And it's been a while since I've done a driving tour of the flats of Beverly Hills, which is the main central part of the city of Beverly Hills. So I thought I'd take you on an updated little tour and let you know what's going on in the marketplace in the flats. So let me switch my camera around for you. There we go. Oops. Let me make it not so wide. Oh, it's still wide. Oh well. Anyways, didn't want you to have to see that part, but there we go. That should be better. Okay. So Beverly Hills City is pretty good size, and the flats of Beverly Hills, as they call it, is considered one of the most popular parts of the city. In terms of definition of what are the flats of Beverly Hills, essentially, for those of you that know the LA Beverly Hills area, Doheny Drive is the eastern border of the flats. Sunset Boulevard, which we're going to right now, this is Sunset Boulevard, and I'm on a street called Hillcrest, which is towards the east end of the flats. So Sunset is on the north, we have Doheny on the eastern border, and then we have Santa Monica Boulevard on the south, and then over to the west we have the LA Country Club as the borderline area. So, for example, here on Sunset Boulevard, this is the median. So anything to the left here on Sunset is called the Flats of Beverly Hills, and anything to the right is just Beverly Hills City, etc. So, in the flats itself, currently there are 25 homes on the market for sale. I believe the average price is around 16 and a half, 17 million. The houses on the market currently have been on the market an average about 84 days. And I think the average lot size in the city of Beverly Hills in the flats is probably running you around 18,000, 19,000 square feet. The largest lot or largest property to sell in the flats just closed escrow in December. Those of you may remember the house I had a year or so ago with the train called Maison 808. That was a 1.6 acre property, 25,000 square foot home, built in the 90s. And it was on the 800 block of North Rexford. Actually, we're coming on Rexford here. And actually, maybe I'll just do a little turn left to show you. And that just closed escrow for under 30 million. So that's the highest sales price to date in the flats. And likely the buyer is going to either substantially remodel the house or tear it down and build a new house. So if you're looking at from a land value, the land sold for about $400 a square foot. And that's pretty average for land value here in the flats of Beverly Hills. Is again around $400 a square foot. So this is Rexford Drive, and we're going to drive by the one that just closed, just to give you a little point of that. So here we go. So just on the left here, oops, can't really see much, but if you just go to my YouTube channel and type in Maison 808 or 808 Rexford Drive, you can see that amazing property that just sold in December for just over 29 million. So in the flats currently, the lowest price right now is about 8.3 million. The highest asking price is around 33 million and change. The one for 33 million is just over an acre, a 50,000 foot lot on the 700 block of North Cannon. And so that's kind of the highest price. And in terms of sales, in the last 12 months or so, the lowest sale price was 8.1 million. So that's the range right now in the flats. Basically 8.1 million to about 30 million. There have been some other homes sold over 30 million, but they're not necessarily considered the flats. They're literally right on the border of the flats. But you know, that's kind of the general range of the properties here. Why is this area so expensive and so popular? One of the main points is it's right in the heart of Beverly Hills, and on the north end, just north of the flats, is the famous Beverly Hills Hotel. And the kind of the center street in the flats is Cannon Drive and Beverly Drive. My office is on Cannon Drive. And if you go up Cannon to Sunset Boulevard, you'll be at the Will Rogers Memorial Park, which is a lovely park that's right kind of across the street from the Beverly Hills Hotel. That modern house across the street, that lot sold, gosh, probably 9, 10 years ago now for just under 10 million, and then they built that new construction house. And now that I've crossed Cannon, I'm going towards the west end of the flats. So essentially, the flats of Beverly Hills have two sections. Cannon and Beverly Drive kind of are the central point. So west of Cannon and Beverly Drive is called the West End Flats, and then east is called the East End Flats. And typically in the flats, the blocks start at the 500 block and go up to 900 or 1,000. Usually the blocks close to Santa Monica, the 500 blocks, are smaller lots. These start at around maybe 11,000, 12,000 feet. And as you go up to the Sunset location, you can sometimes find lots close to an acre or just over an acre. This is Rodeo Drive. Yeah, most people don't know that Rodeo Drive has a residential part to it. Actually, we'll just drive down a little bit since we're doing our little tour. Rodeo Drive always gets a premium price. And I think simply being that Rodeo Drive is such a famous street, and we do have a lot of international buyers here in Los Angeles, and not just international, but buyers from all parts of the country. And it's very prestigious to say, oh, I own a house on Rodeo Drive, because it's a street that there's hardly a person in the world that has not heard of Rodeo Drive. So this is Rodeo Drive, the residential area. It's only 3 blocks north of Santa Monica, and there are some about 3-4 blocks south of Wilshire, because the rest of it's, the business district where we have the shops in Rodeo Drive. And so Rodeo Drive is a very, very popular street. The last house it sold, I believe, sold for just around 10 million about a month ago. So here we are in the West End Flats. You'll see a lot of construction. A lot of these older homes are being torn down and rebuilt. And as a matter of fact, we're going to drive by a couple that I sold in the last couple of years that my clients bought and have now torn down and are building new houses. It's a very popular thing to do here in the flats. And people love it because you're literally 2-3 blocks from the business district and shopping. Oh, this is the house that I sold. It's been torn down now, nothing left. That was once the house of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. They did not own that house, but they did live in that house for a while. Actually, I think I'll just turn right here. But yeah, so my clients bought it. It was a 1920s Spanish. It's now been torn down. They're building a contemporary house on that lot. I sold that property, let's see here, 3 years ago probably, for $6.4 million. It was a great deal. It was a 14,000 foot lot, and it's a lovely street, as you can see, and a nice street and location. Again, this is the West End. Very, very similar to the East End. Why is it a little bit more expensive, which it is? A little bit larger lots, a little bit closer to the country club, and just seems like the further west, the more popular and the higher the prices actually go. And then, oh, let's go by another house. This is another property I sold maybe 4 years ago, and my clients, foreign buyers, tore down the house. It was a 1920 Spanish, and hired Richard Landry, the architect, to build a beautiful little French villa. I almost sold that house across the street. It was a very charming Spanish-style house. But let me just kind of go up the street, and we'll come back down, and we'll kind of end up our little tour today of the flats of Beverly Hills. So this is one of the last streets. We have then Walden, Whittier, and Trenton. Those are the last 3 streets on the west end of the flats. This is North Linden Drive. Nice street. All these streets are very nice and very, very popular. Typically, the only challenge to selling in Beverly Hills in the flats is if you're in the first house in the 500 block, because you're near Santa Monica Boulevard. It can be a little bit noisy with cars. So sometimes people will pay a little bit less for those particular properties and lots than they would that same house, 4 or 5 doors up where there's no noise. And then same thing on the northern end. When you're towards Sunset Boulevard, there can be some noise as well from those locations. So once again, we're here on Linden, North Linden, and we're going to go drive by that house that my clients are building. Actually, my client was here from out of town a couple months ago. I saw him at lunch, and we talked a little bit about the house construction. And it's going to be a beautiful French house. And Richard Landry, the architect, has now done several houses for my clients. He's a very, very well-known international architect, and He does lots of different styles, but you can kind of see this is in the kind of classic French style. Very nice, right? So that's going to be done, I'm guessing, in about maybe 4 or 5 months. So let's continue and end our little tour today. So we're going to go back to Rodeo Drive, but that's kind of the perspective. We were towards the east end on Hillcrest, which is about 4 or 5 blocks towards the eastern border of the flats. And then now we're about 3 blocks from the western border of the flats, and we're about 2 blocks north of Santa Monica. So, the important thing is if you're looking to buy or sell a house here in LA, I was born and raised in this town. I've been selling real estate for more than half my life, almost 3/4 of my life now. I started at 18, and I'm now going to be 52 or 53, excuse me. And I've been driving since I was 16, so I got a call for a listing appointment, which I just came from, and the owner says to me, "Oh, it's by this architect, and it's on this street." I said, "Oh, is it on the northwest corner of X and Y?" And they said, "How did you know?" I have a photographic memory, and I remember really cool architectural style homes or homes by known architects. So she was quite surprised that I immediately knew the house without even getting the address. But I did. And another funny story, it was not in the flats, but it was a Paul Williams house, designed by the very famous architect Paul Williams, and it's actually Black History Month, and he's the premier African-American architect and amazing architect. And there was a house he designed on Beverly Glen that I always loved, and for years I drive by and think, oh, what a gorgeous house. And it was in a TV series a few years ago, Feud. Was it Feud? Yeah, the one with Barbara... Oh, shoot. Joan Crawford and Betty Davis, that TV series. It was Joan Crawford's house in the TV show. So for, 15, 20, maybe 25 years, I'd drive by the house. Oh, what a gorgeous house, what a gorgeous house. And about 9 months before I got the call to list it, my wife and I were out on a Sunday. We're driving by. My wife says, "Oh, take a picture of me in front of the house," which we did, which she's never done before. She's very instinctive, so we did. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, about 9 months later, I get a random phone call. Lady says, "We've got this house. It's a Paul Williams. It's on Beverly Glen." I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "333 North Beverly Glen?" She says, "How did you know?" I said, "Well, that's been one of my favorite houses since I can remember. I've always loved that house, and I had just sold the property across the street in Holmby Hills. That was in Little Holmby, and that was a 3-acre teardown that we sold for 19.8 million for one lot and like 17.6 for the other lot. So it was literally across the street, and there was construction. So anyways, long story short of that is I listed the house and I sold it, and it was one of my favorites. So sorry I digress there, but so we're now back on Rodeo Drive. We're ending the residential section. So this is now Santa Monica Boulevard, and this is now the shopping district, which is basically 3 blocks of shopping in Rodeo. And there's the new Louis Vuitton pop, which started last Friday, which I haven't been to yet, and I've got to do that. And then this is the shopping zone. So we've got 3-4 blocks of Rodeo Drive north of Santa Monica. We've got 3-4 blocks of the best shopping in the West Coast here on Rodeo Drive. And we have the Beverly Wilshire Hotel down at the bottom of the street down there. And so that was like my little mini tour today of the flats. And since we're almost back at my office, might as well just continue the tour, and I'll show you my office building. So we've got Cartier here on the left, David Yurman on the right, Gucci. Gucci opened their restaurant, Gucci Osteria, back just before the pandemic. Actually, Craig Hogan, my friend, head of our global luxury division, was in LA, and we were invited and got to go to eat there before they opened to the public, and it was amazing. We had a really wonderful time. And it's the rooftop of the Gucci store with a separate entrance called Gucci Osteria. And now that restaurants are open again, I'm guessing that they're open too. Fun place to go eat on Rodeo Drive. There's not really many restaurants on Rodeo Drive. Years ago in the 80s there were lots of them, but not so much anymore. And we have pretty much every major luxury brand known to man here on this street. So that's Wilshire Boulevard to the south. That's the famous Beverly Wilshire Hotel, built in 1923 or 26, I believe. It was one of the first hotels built in Beverly Hills. Here on our left is Via Rodeo, or Two Rodeo is the name of it. It's a shopping center. It doesn't look like one, but it's a little quiet private road, and they have Versace there. They have Tiffany and Company. They have Jimmy Choo, our family. Lalique was there. Got Breguet, other nice brands. So, and then of course Louis Vuitton on the right, and we just passed Burberry. So Rodeo Drive is kind of the main central part of the business zone. We just passed Van Cleef & Arpels, and we have Beverly Drive. Beverly Drive and Cannon have some really great restaurants. Beverly Drive has Avra, which is a Mediterranean Greek restaurant. They have a wonderful Mexican restaurant that I love. It's called, oh shoot, I forgot the name right now. Oh heck. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh shoot, it'll come back to me. God, I go there like every week or so. Cantina Frida. So, great Mexican food, best Mexican food in Beverly Hills, literally right down to the right of the street here. And then the next block is Cannon. And on Cannon, I think we have about 20 of the best restaurants in town. Spago, Mastro's, The Palm, Il Pastel, Via Loro, Cafe Roma. Geez, what else? They're all here. Ibaldi. Lots of great places. And we're going to make a little left here. This is where my office is, and you'll get a little quick glimpse of my office, and then we're going to say goodbye for now. And hope you enjoyed this little tour of the flats of Beverly Hills and part of our business district. If you're looking to move to Beverly Hills and you want to kind of get an idea of the different areas, and I don't just sell Beverly Hills, I sell the whole of LA City, from downtown LA to Encino, the Valley, Malibu, Marina Del Rey. We even go outside of the area. We sell in Montecito sometimes. We just sold a house in Newport Beach for over $7 million a few months ago. So we go around because luxury clients here in LA, that's my building by the way, also have weekend homes in Palm Springs, Montecito, and Newport Beach. So I need to know those areas, and I sell those areas. So this is my building. It's called the Village on Cannon. It's one of the prettiest buildings here in Beverly Hills, and I'm in that, maybe you'll see it as we drive, that little top floor penthouse with a balcony right there. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye from Beverly Hills.